Hey, it's Lisa Wimberger here. I'm the founder of Neurosculpting, and I have helped thousands of people learn really powerful tools to regulate their minds and their bodies, including pro athletes, entrepreneurs, and those with serious stress-based illnesses. So I'm really excited to help you do the very same thing through education and some incredible guest experts. And together, we're going to discover the formula to unlock hope. So welcome. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you date in this modern world with catfishing and online dating and curated lives that take forever to find out who a person actually is. And I'm kind of being judgy when I say that, and I'm being really grateful that I'm not in the dating world. But then I was thinking back, all right, Lisa, what was your experience dating? And I have to say, it was freaking hysterical. And I was sharing the story I want to tell you. Actually, I want to tell you a couple stories, but the story I first want to tell you, I was sharing the other day with my husband, and he was laughing so hard. And he said, "Does this guy know that this happened?" And I said, "I don't think so. It was 7th grade." He said, "You should find him. You should tell him this is worth telling." Okay. So let's go back to 7th grade, right? The time in your life when you're just super confident, right? Oh my God, junior high is probably the most brutal place I ever was. I was a very small child. So I would say that at 13, I probably looked like I was 8. I was about 6 inches shorter than all of my peers. I was tiny, tiny bones, tiny person. Zero implications of puberty anytime soon. I mean, I was a child. And I had the biggest crush on this guy. He was, as far as I could tell, he was Judd Nelson from Breakfast Club. He was that guy. Oh, yeah, the bad boy. I don't know if he actually was a bad boy. I thought he was a bad boy. I thought he was beautiful. And I would just stare at him. And I was this little tiny child looking person in all these honors classes. And he was, the cool kids club. Clearly, he did not even notice I existed, or so I thought. I had the biggest crush on him, and we walked past each other in the hallway, and I didn't even register on his radar. Let's put it that way. And I told my friends all about it all the time. And I remember being in the lunchroom, right? I'm there at the lunch table. I've got my chocolate milk. I've got my peanuts. I've got the rest of lunch. And I'm just having a great time with my friends. And here he comes walking down the aisle with his lunch tray. And I'm, oh my God, I'm going to see him. He's going to look at me. I know he's going to look at me this time. And he starts to turn his head, and right when he looks at me, my best friend elbows me, and she whispers, "He's looking at you, he's looking at you." And at that exact moment, I snarf my chocolate milk, like, and it shoots out my nose in a spray of chocolate milk, and a peanut goes flying out my nostril like full speed. And this is precisely when he looked at me. And now my head is down and I am mortified. And there's chocolate milk and a soggy nostril peanut in the middle of the table. I didn't even know you could inhale a peanut and shoot it out of your nose, but I did it. And so that was in the back of my mind, as this is the only thing he will ever remember of me. Flash forward to a couple months later, I think he might have seen me. I don't know. I don't think it was good. I was trying to redeem myself, and I wanted to be sassy. And I had this confirmation outfit. So I grew up Roman Catholic, received confirmation. It was a big deal in my family. You got dressed up, and I have no idea why my mother even let this happen. but I bought a sailor suit. I don't know why I wanted a sailor suit. It was a one-piece jumper, blue and white stripe, and the legs were ballooned, like huge balloon legs, and they clasped under the knees. So I looked like I was wearing clown pants, and it had this like little square bib top with red stars, and I swear it was like a clown sailor suit. And I thought I was the shit. Oh my God, I thought I looked amazing. Yeah, and so I wore that to school. The day I knew where he was in class and I got the hall pass to go to the bathroom, and I think I walked past his classroom a few times until eventually he went to the bathroom and we passed each other in the hallway, and once again, I don't even think he saw me. So I tell this story to my husband. He says, you should find him on Facebook. And so, we're connected on Facebook. I don't think I've spoken to him ever. And last I recall ever even potentially seeing each other was 7th grade. And I write to him and I said, hey, strange, but you might not remember me, but I, in 7th grade, had a crush on you, and I blew chocolate milk and a peanut out my nose right when you looked at me. And he wrote back and he said, I thought you were so cute. I used to check you out all the time. Oh my God. So he must have seen me blow the peanut out of my nose. Okay, story number 1 that helps me understand not to take myself too seriously. What's the power in not taking yourself too seriously? Well, the power is that you don't take yourself too seriously, and you can correct your mistakes, and you can admit your mistakes, and you can be humble. And when you're on your soapbox and you're judgy, you can remember the time the peanut flew out of your nose and all of the lunch table saw, and potentially the guy you had a crush on. But that's not the only fun dating story. The rest are actual date stories. I'm going to fast forward to probably my favorite one. Yeah, my favorite one. So I was dating this guy. It was going to be our first date. Actually, let me back up. He picked me up at a bar while I was on another date, and it was brilliant. So I have to say it was brilliant. So I was on a date with this guy who was so full of himself. It was like one of those blind dates, and I was not having a good time. And this guy was so full of himself, and he's playing foosball, and he's showing off, and he's totally ignoring me. This other guy at the bar notices this and gets his friend to challenge my date, totally playing into his ego. So now those guys are off playing foosball, and the guy at the bar sidles up to me, and he's just like, hey. So he starts talking to me, and we're hitting it off. He's funny. I'm enjoying the conversation. And so we said, do you want to go out sometime? Yeah, let's go on a picnic, right? That's pretty safe. Truth be told, it was safe. But the day we had our date, I had a dentist appointment that morning. I had a cavity, so I was going to get it filled. And so the whole side of my mouth was numb. That's fine. I wasn't planning on kissing him. I didn't even know him, so it was okay. So I go meet him after the dentist appointment. I go meet him on the date. I don't tell him I was at the dentist. It's none of his business. And there we are, sitting on a blanket, chatting, eating our sandwiches. And I know some of you may have a problem with this, but bologna and mayo sandwiches were my favorite, especially from New York delis, because they would give you like 11 slices of bologna. It was huge. So you really had to like open your mouth wide and bite into this, and just you could feel your teeth go through every layer of that bologna. I would have it on a Kaiser roll. It was the best. Oh, it was the best. Yeah. I know all about bologna now, so you can save your comments about the evils of bologna and leave me to enjoy my memories. So anyway, I'm eating my bologna sandwich on a romantic date, because what else do you eat on a romantic date but a bologna sandwich? And and he's eating his. We're just hanging out. And all of a sudden, I see him wincing. Every time I'm talking, he's like, ugh, wincing like that, like, ugh. Like somehow I am so offensive, or I am really disgusting him. And I'm really self-conscious. And after a few winces, he says to me, uh, uh, your mouth, your mouth is bleeding. You're chewing your lip. And I had blood pouring down my mouth because I couldn't feel my freaking lips. And instead of chewing on what I thought was 11 thick slices of bologna, I am actually chewing the crap out of my lip as though I'm psychotic. I got this thing like all the way in my mouth and I'm gnawing on it and chowing down, and I've got blood dripping down my chin. He doesn't know I'm numb. So I don't know what he thought, but it was extremely embarrassing. And so then I had to backpedal, tell him all about the fact that I had gone to the dentist, and no, this is not my normal, uh, you know, food etiquette. Uh, and lo and behold, he asks me on a second date. Okay, this one, I'm going to redeem myself. This is going to be great. We're going to redo. We're doing a redo. We're going back to the park. We go back to the park. He brings a blanket. He brings a guitar. He's going to serenade me. We bring lunch, not a bologna sandwich. And no, I had not been at the dentist. We're good. We're good. This is going to go great. There we are, sitting there eating our lunch, and he's chatting with me and I'm chatting with him. And without breaking stride in the middle of a sentence, he said, yeah, so yeah, my friends and I are going out and there's a guy standing behind you masturbating. What? What did you just say? And I turn around, and about 50 feet away in the bushes, standing just in front of the bushes, is this giant. He's like probably 6'5". He has flame red hair. He's also wearing a cap and nothing else. And he's standing proud like a freaking stallion, and he's fully erect, and he is doing his business. And the two of us were so shocked, mesmerized, and all we could do was stare at him, mouths open, like, and we watched, frozen. We watched him finish his business. And then when he was done, waved his hand, kind of like that, you know, queen kind of wave, and pranced off back into the bushes. And this was date number 2. So I was on a roll. So suffice to say, I did not have the seduction game, people. In fact, the game that I actually had was that I had so little game that I would humiliate and embarrass myself on dates. And when I look back and I think back to the feeling like that child who was too small and no one would ever see me, and how that gave me a gift. It gave me the gift of not having to try to be cooler than I actually was, because no one saw me as the cool girl. So the pressure was off. Because the pressure was off, I could be me. And because I could be me, I could actually have these crazy stories. Yeah, sure, they were embarrassing, they were humiliating. But I have to tell you, these are just a few of a lot that I have. I wouldn't trade it for anything, because these are the best stories. These are the best date stories that I could ever want to hear. So what is the gift here? The gift in not taking yourself too seriously. We try so hard. We try so hard in this, Instagram world of curated everything. We try so freaking hard. Even we try to curate what vulnerability looks like. People. Vulnerability is a brand new thing for me. And I'm just getting acquainted with it publicly. And what I see is my own impulse to try to curate it and to make it the right kind of vulnerability, or pretty crying versus ugly crying, or saying just the right thing to let you know that I'm human and that this is not a facade, which is also a facade. And so what I'm getting to learn as I go through my memories of absolute humility and embarrassment is that everyone laughs down the road at those embarrassing stories, including the star character. And they become funny. And they become these things to talk about and make other people laugh about. And so what I would want to hold on to is this idea that the less measured and neat we are with our lives, the more willing we are to be vulnerable and not cool and really stupid sometimes. And then to not try to hide that, but to actually be okay with people knowing it. The more we're in those spaces, the more power, the more peace I have. I don't have to try to be the cool kid. You don't have to try to be the cool kid. You are far cooler in all of your messiness than any cool kid that you've ever known or I've ever known. Because the cool kids, we've all been there at times, we've all tried to be this, are measuring pieces of themselves to let out because they're too scared to let them all out. I'm done going through life being too scared to let all my pieces out. It is short. Life is short. Imagine how much more you could show up if you gave yourself permission to let all of your pieces out, to trip over the sidewalk and not try to pretend like you're above tripping. We trip in the sidewalk and we look back like this disgruntled look, like, how dare that thing get in our way? Remember being a kid where you could just fall down and get up and just keep running and laughing with your friends? And how little kids just accepted that you do little kid things? Wouldn't it be nice to be like that? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to, in the moment, laugh at the fact that you're snarfing chocolate milk and catapulting a peanut out your nostril? I mean, hell, who else did that in 7th grade? I'm actually a freaking legend. So the stuff we try to hide, the stuff that embarrasses us, the stuff that makes us messy, this is the stuff of legends. I want to hear your legend stories, and I want to laugh really hard with you. So share them with me. Thanks for listening to Unlock Hope. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we're at Neurosculpting Institute on Facebook, at Neurosculpting on Instagram. You can always reach out to us on our website, neurosculpting.com, and you can download our app, Neuropraxis. Stay well, everybody.